Southeast Asia has completely exceeded my expectations. I never knew. What's going on, everybody? Right now I'm outside of my condo in Vietnam. Okay, in case you can't tell, I am black. And so today I'm going to be talking to you guys about my experience being black in Southeast Asia, okay? I've been living in Southeast Asia for 5 months now, okay? I spent time in Malaysia, in Kuala Lumpur, Shiraz, and Sabah. I've spent time in Bali, Indonesia, okay? And although this is in Southeast Asia, I've also spent time in Tokyo, and I've also spent time in Osaka. And as you can see right now, I am currently in Vietnam, okay? Ho Chi Minh, Vietnam. And on top of me spending time in Southeast Asia, I've also spent my whole life in and around Atlanta, Georgia, okay? I've also spent time in California. I've been in New York. I've been in Chicago. I've been in Colorado. I've been in Florida. I've been in Alabama, South Carolina, North Carolina. You know, and the list goes on. And so my point in saying that is I have experience in the South of the United States. I have experience in the North of the United States. I have experience in the West of the United States. And I have experience in Southeast Asia. So I know what racism looks like, okay? I know how it feels to be black in a lot of different places. And so that's why my opinion is valid, okay? So what is it like being black in Southeast Asia? I'm not gonna lie to you. It is one of the best experiences that you can have as a black man. Without a doubt, I've never felt more comfortable and appreciated by strangers in my life. It's one thing for your family to love you and appreciate you. It's one thing for people that you don't know, that don't look like you, to love and appreciate you, okay? If you watch my vlogs, you know the amount of people that I run into where it's just good vibes, okay? A lot of good vibes, a lot of good vibes, a lot of good vibes. From my experience, there are basically 3 different types of people that you will run into while you're traveling in Southeast Asia, okay? There will be the people that love and appreciate black people and black culture, and or they might just appreciate people in general, and they might just be nice people that love everybody, right? It's gonna be the people that don't really like black people or black culture and kind of wish you wasn't even here, right? And then it's gonna be the people that literally could care less about who you are, where you're from, your race, and all of that, okay? And so how does that look, right? So the first group of people, those are the people that you might see in my video that ask me, hey, can I take a picture with you? Those are the people that you see in my videos that ask me, where are you from? What are you doing here? What brought you here? Okay? Those are the people that just want to have conversations. They are, and even if they aren't the one to spark the conversation, they're waiting on me to spark a conversation. And as soon as I say one thing, the floodgates are open, okay? Those people openly embrace black people into their country. Those people are very curious about black people. Those people enjoy black culture. And also, like I said, a lot of those people just love people in general, no matter what your race is, right? Now, the people that don't like black people, okay? How does this look? And this is a big difference between the US and in Southeast Asia, okay? So in the US, if somebody doesn't like you, what do they do? If somebody in the US, if you're black and somebody doesn't like you, or if somebody doesn't like black people, we have what we call Karens, okay? People that just go out of their way to harass you when you aren't doing anything wrong or anything like that. We have, you know, cricket police with an agenda. We have people that just call the police for no reason, even if you aren't doing anything, you're just minding your business. We have people that will literally make your life harder just because you're black, okay? Here, it's not like that. If somebody does not like black people, what they will do is stare at you from a distance. They will keep their distance from you, okay? They might stare at you, and if you just stare back, they'll stop. But that's how it's gonna work. They're just gonna stare at you. They aren't gonna say anything to you, or at least to your face. They won't say anything to you. They will just stare at you, and they might look disgusted or something like that. But it's not they're not gonna make your life more difficult. They're not gonna come up to you and say anything. They aren't gonna call the police on you. They aren't gonna call security on you. They will just be kind of disgusted and looking from a distance, okay? And that's all it is. And similarly to these type of people, the people that just don't care, they just don't bother you, okay? They just walk past you. And that's like a lot of people. Like, you know, I'm at this park right now. People just going on with their day, you know what I mean? It's not a big deal. Oh, it's a black person, cool. It's not the first black person that they probably seen. And they just, you know, keep going on about their day. They might not interact with you at all. They definitely aren't gonna like stare at you and make you feel like kind of like the oddball or something like that. But they're just going to pretend that you, not pretend that you don't exist. They just aren't going to notice you. Like, you aren't that big of a deal. You know what I'm saying? And so that's the three type of people. It's either they like you, they want to know about you, they're curious about you, or they don't like you, they stay away from you, or they just don't care and they just like really don't even notice you. And if they notice you, it's just whatever. It's not a big deal. So that's the three type of people that you will encounter here from my experience. But like I said, in all of those three people, nobody's coming up to bother you. Nobody's about to bother you. I've been walking around like this whole video. You will see there's a lot of people around me. Nobody is bothering me. I'm literally just chilling, just walking around. It's not a big deal. And then if you really think about it, the only people you will really come in contact with is the first group, because the other two groups are either not paying attention to you or like purposely staying away from you. So you're only going to deal with the people that like you, which is like a plus to me. You know what I mean? Another big issue, like I was saying earlier, you know, people in the US, they might call the police and stuff on you. So police brutality is a big issue. We all know that, okay? Police brutality is a thing in America. It's been a thing in America since Rodney King, from Trayvon Martin to George Floyd. It's been a thing in America. That's not a thing over here, okay? The police just aren't like beating people up, all right? At least not in the cities I'm at. And what's even more interesting is I rarely see police. Rarely. Like, I could probably count on both my hands how many times I've seen a police officer. And on top of that, I've never even talked to police since I've been here. I haven't had one conversation with the police officer since I've been here. The closest I've gotten to is maybe an airport official while I'm checking in my bags or something like that. Other than that, I haven't had any interaction with the police whatsoever. Nobody's gotten pulled over while I've been in the car. I haven't gotten stopped. I haven't gotten questioned. I haven't gotten anything, like no dealings. And like I said, I barely even see the police. And what you definitely are not going to see is, you aren't going to see like police officers hiding in plain sight, like how they do in America, where they just hiding in the dark in the cut just to pull you over. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's not what's happening here. You feel me? If anything, they don't want to talk to you, okay? They're trying to go on about their day and handle their business. And that's another very, very big difference. Nobody wants to deal with the police in America. We know how that is as a black person. So to come here and not have to deal with the police, not even see the police, not have to deal with any authority or security or nothing like that, man, it makes me much, much more comfortable. And then also, like, I really don't get racially profiled at all. I haven't experienced too much of, like, I've been in different countries, not here, but I've been in different countries where I have been racially profiled, for sure. In Germany, I was definitely racially profiled. It was weird. And in Costa Rica, I was also definitely racially profiled. So I know how that feels, and that does happen in other places. That hasn't happened here. It hasn't been a case where I'm in a store and I'm just being followed around, or somebody think I stole something, or somebody is like questioning me or anything like that. If anything, people look at me as higher class because they're like, okay, this guy is from America, so he has to have some type of money, right? And if anything, that's how they're gonna view you. not really look down on you and think that you're like stealing or anything like that. And so how is the black man represented in media? Okay, you know, in America, if you watch the news, you're going to see overrepresentation of black people being, I guess you could say, inhumane, committing crimes and all of that type of things. Over here, I can't say that I haven't just sat down and watched the news. But even in America, I've never just sat down and watched the news. But even on social media and things like that, it's a whole narrative being pushed on of black people, like committing crimes and all of this type of stuff, right? Even if it isn't an accurate representation of what's happening, like percentage-wise in the world, you know, that's just the narrative that's being pushed. Here, I don't think it's like that. And that could be because it's not that many black people. Maybe their news is showing something different. Maybe their news is showing their people. Either way it goes, the moral of the story is black men are not being demonized in media. And if anything, what people know about black people comes from pop culture. So it comes from sports, music, fashion, and things like that. Okay, that's where it will come from. And you know, and that also kind of creates like an angelic effect on black men. You know, when people look at these rappers and stuff like that, they think that's the coolest thing ever. So the closest thing that they get to that is a black man like myself, right? And so that's what they related to. They related to, okay, these rappers that they love so much, the music that they love so much, these sports players that they love so much, this, that, and the third. That's who they relate to when they see somebody like me. And it definitely isn't like a demonized version of what America deems black men to be. You know, they call us thugs they call us thugs in the news. They call us thugs in political settings. Any chance they get, man, that's how they label us. But it's not like that over here. You know what I mean? At least it's not wide enough to where I haven't seen it. I haven't just walked past the TV and just seen like black people being plastered. I haven't been scrolling on social media and been seeing a bunch of posts of what black people are doing and how bad black men are, et cetera, et cetera. I haven't seen that. And you know, so if a person doesn't get their information or their view of a black man from media or like pop culture, they get it from their family. So that's the other thing. And you know, the family can instill certain ideas into people, but other than that, man, there's no like outside source that's just forcing a narrative of how black men are. At least, like I said, not that I've seen at all. It hasn't just been popped out to me. In America, you will 100% see black men being demonized, whether you look for it or not. And so as far as social interaction go, how you doing? And so that guy right there, for example, he kind of was making a weird face at me, and it could have been because I'm vlogging, it could have been because I'm black. Either way it goes, he just walked away and went on about his day. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how, and like I said, I don't know if he like felt some type of way about me. I don't really know. But regardless, he just went on about his day. It wasn't like, he's not about to call the police. He's not about to say anything to me or anything like that. You feel me? And that's how like the interactions go. Either they love you, or they don't care about you, or they don't like you. Either way, if they love you, they'll talk to you. If they don't, they leave you alone. Perfect example. But what I was gonna say, oh yeah, social interaction. So as you see in a lot of my videos, I really have no problem making friends. I've met a lot of people, even like since I got to Vietnam. I've met at least like 5-10 people like since I've been here. I got people that I could call, hey, what's going on tonight, this, that, and the third. And even if you watch like my vlog in Malaysia, within a couple weeks, I was doing the Muay Thai, and I built a whole community through that. You know what I mean? I was going out with dinner with friends. I was going to events with friends, spending time with people. So making friends is not an issue. Even though I do like to be by myself, so I'm not super eager to make friends, but it's not a hard thing to do, okay? But also at the same time, where I'm from in Atlanta, is equally not as hard to make friends, okay? Especially if you're doing something creative, if you make music, or if you shoot videos, or anything in the creative space, you can make connections very easily. And it's like I said, it's also not hard here. How has being in Southeast Asia impacted my career opportunities? It honestly has changed my life. Okay, so I was already a filmmaker. I was doing a different type of film, but now, you know, I'm doing the YouTube thing. But since I got here, this being here alone has completely changed and gave me a new level of opportunity as far as filmmaking goes. I was able to build an audience, and although I do know I have a lot of support in the US, without a doubt my Southeast Asian community is the community that really took everything to the next level. And I appreciate you guys for that, and I love you guys for that. So as far as like career opportunities go, it's definitely opportunity out here. It's a lot of opportunity out here, and that's something I realized. Like as I started traveling, like when I went to Europe, when I went to Costa Rica, I realized, like, man, it's money everywhere in this world, right? You can get money from anywhere. Everybody is spending money. You have to spend money to survive. And so it's money everywhere. So you don't have to be stuck in America to get money. You can go anywhere in the world. I realized that like a year or two ago. And even if, like, for example, I do YouTube, okay? Even if you aren't doing something like that, you can still come out here, maybe teach English. You know what I mean? That's a real opportunity that's out here. And I'm pretty sure some other things, you just gotta do your research, and whatever field you're interested in, see how you can possibly take that abroad, and you might be able to make something happen. So yeah, it's definitely career opportunities and stuff like that. Like I said, for me personally, it took my career to a completely different level. And I am forever grateful and forever appreciative for that. Now, let's talk about one of my favorite parts of living in Southeast Asia, okay? The living conditions. Look at this. It does not get much better than Southeast Asia when it comes to quality living for a low price. You cannot beat this no matter where you go, no matter where you look, no matter how hard you try. You're not gonna find anything better than Southeast Asia, okay? It is the most inexpensive place, but the quality you get is absolutely insane. And anybody that has visited or has lived here that's from another country like America, or, you know, maybe somewhere in Europe, they will agree to that. I'm telling you, it's crazy. And on top of that, like, for example, let's say if you are in Atlanta, Georgia, and you want to fly to, let's say you want to go to Alabama, or let's say you want to go to South Carolina, that round trip could easily cost you $300, $400, right? Here, if you are in Malaysia and you want to go to Vietnam, which is the trip that I just took, that is going to cost you $60 one way, $120 round trip. And that's how most of the countries are in Southeast Asia. You're gonna pay no more than $150. You know what I'm saying? No more than $150. That's like crazy. If you're paying $150 to go to another country in Southeast Asia, I don't know what you're doing. And it could be even the day of. Like, if I look for a flight for tomorrow, I'm telling you, it's going to be like $48, $54, $60. You know what I mean? So everything is just extremely, extremely inexpensive here. On top of that, this is another one of my favorite parts. It is so safe here. When I say it is so safe here, I don't know where you guys are from, okay, but I am from Atlanta, Georgia, right? It is not safe, okay? It is not safe. You have to look over your shoulder everywhere you go. Everybody has guns. People are trying to rob you, and you could be in one of the nicest parts in the town. You still have to look over your shoulder. People will rob you. You could leave Lenox Mall, which is a very nice mall, and in the parking lot, people will rob you. Okay, people get killed there. People get robbed there. And it's not uncommon. You know what I mean? Here, bro, nothing like that. There hasn't been one time in 5 months, there hasn't been one time that I have been worried about my safety. And it's so funny because You know, when you move across the world, people are gonna tell you, hey, be safe and watch out, like make sure you be careful. Bro, I am 1,000 times safer here than I ever was in Atlanta. I promise you. It's nobody trying to do anything to me. I can walk around at night by myself. I can travel wherever I want to by myself. Like, it's no issues at all. Like, nobody is trying to do anything to you, bro. The peace of mind that you get from that, because like I said, growing up in Atlanta, or you could just even look at like LA, California, bro, it was a whole like robbing epidemic where people were just robbing people in broad daylight. You know what I mean? And it was an epidemic when people just walking into stores taking stuff. Bro, none of that is happening here. I'm telling you, none of that is happening here. You know, people here work hard, okay? They might not have a lot, but they work hard for what they have, right? And they appreciate what they have, and they don't feel like they need to take from somebody else to get the things that they lack. That's not what's going on here, man. And that's priceless to me, okay? I've spent a lot of my life not feeling safe. I spent a lot of my life having to look over my shoulder. I spent a lot of my life being quote unquote paranoid, and living in a state of paranoia, and having to plan, like, even if I'm in New York, I'm like, man, I gotta make sure I don't have my camera. I can't just walk around like this. When I'm in Atlanta, you know, like similarly, I gotta make sure I gotta put all my bags in my trunk whenever I'm just parking on the street just to go into the store. You know what I'm saying? Little things like that, bro. You don't have to worry about that here. Especially in places like Japan. Tokyo is one of the safest places you can ever go to. Trust me. And I'm talking about, like, bro, my friend told me he lost his phone and he got in contact with the police, and they gave it to him. Like, they had his phone. Bro, that's not happening in Atlanta, bro. No. If you lose your phone, bro, get a new phone, bro. It's over with, okay? And I just seen a TikTok the other day. A guy said he left his digital camera sitting on a park bench. The next day he came back and it was just sitting there. And even when I was in Tokyo and I was out at night, everybody is drunk, all of these things. People are passed out on the floor, on the sidewalk. And nobody is going into their pockets. Nobody is doing anything to them. They're just sitting there asleep. And all while this is happening, is no police in sight because it's just so safe. And I think what it comes down to is respect, right? I think the Asian culture, a lot of it is built on respect, especially when it comes to, like, you know, fighting is a big thing, like karate, Muay Thai, jiu-jitsu, all of that type of stuff. All of that is at the basic level built on respect, okay? Respect for yourself, respect for others, respect for the art. And so I think people just built differently. And I think because people are ingrained with respect, it just shows in different ways. In America, respect is not the coolest thing. You know, jugging and finessing is the popular thing, okay? Slime, like doing people that trust you wrong is the cool thing in America. But you know what I mean? That's not celebrated here, okay? And thank God, you know what I mean? Because it shouldn't be celebrated. Like, why would you celebrate doing somebody that trusts you wrong? But that's the reality of America, you know what I mean? And also, it's so safe here, bro. You wouldn't believe, it's so many times I'm just going to the store and it's just like a little boy or a little girl just walking like right behind me, like in the store or on the elevator with me by themselves, like at least 5 to 10 times a day. I just see little kids just walking around by themselves. And that's just because, bro, it's so safe. Like, nothing is about to happen. You know what I mean? They can do that. And I'm gonna put up some stats for the housing, and I'm gonna put up some stats for the crime rates in all the major cities in Southeast Asia. I'll do Tokyo, I'll do Osaka, and I'm gonna put the housing in all of these major cities too, so you can see how it compares in price range for the same exact quality in America or the United States versus in Southeast Asia, all right? And so, as you can probably imagine, moving across the world, you will run into a few challenges, and you will have a few misconceptions about what you thought it was going to be versus the reality. And one challenge I will say that most people will face is being away from family and friends that you've been around your whole life, right? that is a new thing. And because it's one thing to go on a vacation for a couple weeks, it's one thing to be away for a weekend or something like that. It's another thing to be on the other side of the world, like literally a 1-day flight, 18-hour flight, away from your family. And that's some people can't handle that. Me personally, I like to be by myself anyway, so it's not that big of a deal. Like FaceTime calls, phone calls, that's enough for me. And obviously I'm going to spend time with my family like when I go back home, but I'm okay with being away. You know what I mean? I look at it like I spent my whole life around these people, and I love these people, don't get me wrong, but I've spent my whole life around these people. A few months won't hurt. That's how I look at it. And also another, I guess you could say, challenge that I faced is, it's hard to shop. It's hard to shop for like skincare products. It's hard to find barbers. It's hard for like, that's a challenge you will face, okay? Because like, for example, if you are in Japan, if you try to find like some face moisturizer or something like that, it's going to be made for people with a lighter undertone, right? So your pigmentation or your melanin in your skin is much higher than everybody else's. So you might want to use like some face cream or whatever, but it has like a lighter undertone, and so it just doesn't look right on your face. But you can also just fly in with things too, so that's not that big of a deal. But I did run out of like my facial moisturizer, and like I haven't been able to find something good quite yet, but I am still searching. Oh yeah, like a barber. Luckily I just found the barber in Vietnam. Shout out to him, you feel me? I got the cut right now, but shout out to him. He got your boy right. But you might not find one. Like when I was in Malaysia, I did some research, I didn't find anybody. I wasn't about to go to anybody, you know what I mean? I'm cool on it, it's no big deal. And outside of that, it wasn't really too many other challenges I faced just based on race alone. All right, so let's say, like me, you moved across the world by yourself. So what does the community look like? What is the representation like here? So surprisingly, depending on what cities you are in, some cities are more popular than others. You will be able to find a lot of other expats that are living abroad. And I don't know if you know, maybe you just been living under a rock, maybe you just aren't tapped in with this side of everything, but being a digital nomad is becoming more and more popular as the day goes by, especially since COVID and they did the whole work from home thing. You can work from anywhere in the world. It's so many different ways to make money. More people are choosing to live abroad, and so when you go to certain places, it's much easier to connect with these people because you kind of are doing the same things. You kind of have the same schedules. So you might run into these people in coffee shops. You might run into these people in the gym, etc., etc. And as far as representation goes, in Malaysia, for example, I didn't run into a lot of Black Americans. It was a lot of Africans there, but not a lot of Black Americans. I almost didn't see any, if I'm being honest. But in places like Japan and Tokyo, there are a ton of Black people. That was something that definitely surprised me. Ton of Black people in Tokyo. And then even in Vietnam though, like as you seen, or you might not have seen, go watch the last video, but there were a lot of Black people in Vietnam as well, okay? At least where I was at, it was a lot of Black people in that one setting. So there is representation there, and you can tap in with these people. And even one of the guys that I was hanging out with last weekend, he was actually from Atlanta as well. So the representation is definitely there, and it depends on the location. But in my opinion, I get used. Sometimes I forget I'm like in a completely different continent, all right? Until I just hear people like speaking, I'm like, oh, I'm in Vietnam, I forgot. But yeah, so it's a little representation here and there, man. But you know, I don't me personally, I don't ever feel alone. I'm cool with being by myself, so I don't ever feel like, oh, I'm the only Black person, man. I don't have anybody that, like, nah, I don't really feel like that ever, bro. Even if I am the only Black person in the situation, I don't really feel like that. I don't really feel like that. Another thing that I thought might be a bigger deal than it is though is like the language and the communication, right? depending on where you are, again, a lot of this depends on what cities you are in. Like for example, Malaysia, pretty much everybody speaks English, okay? But in certain places like Tokyo or even here in Vietnam, English is not widely used, okay? Similar to like how in America, we were forced to take like 2 years of a foreign language, but nobody really took it serious or things like that. It's the same way here. At least that's how it seems. It seems like maybe they studied it, but like maybe they didn't take it serious, or maybe they haven't practiced it a lot. But a lot of people don't speak English here, but it hasn't been a big deal. You know, we got Google Translate. You could talk to your phone and it'll translate it for you. They could talk to your phone, it'll translate it for you. You can use your camera and put it on words and it will show you what the words are saying. So it's really like, it's not that big of a deal, to be honest. But what I will say though is this: if you just take the time to learn a few phrases of these other cultures' language, if you just take the time to learn a few phrases of these other people's languages, that will go a long way. Even if you can't say everything 100% right, the fact that you even took the time out of your day to attempt to learn their language and genuinely appreciate their culture, they will appreciate you for that. I'm telling you, they will appreciate you for that. It will instantly put a smile on their face. It will instantly start a conversation. It will instantly make them happy. And it's because you're showing genuine appreciation for their culture. Like, you didn't just come over here and you don't care about this place. Like, no, I came over here and I honestly made an honest effort and attempt to indulge in your culture. I wanted to learn your language so I can communicate with you guys on a more natural level. And me personally, when it comes to learning different languages, I just use Duolingo. Duolingo has not let me down. And yeah, man, like I said, you don't even need to know a ton of things, but if you can learn a few phrases, the more the better, obviously. But if you can learn a few phrases, it will go a long way. So in conclusion, my overall experience, like, I promise you, and I'm not exaggerating at all, and if anything, I'm under exaggerating. I wish I could like express myself better so you could really get a better understanding of how I really feel. But Southeast Asia has completely exceeded my expectations. I never knew what I was missing out on, but I can tell you I was missing out on a lot, okay? I feel safe, I feel appreciated, I feel at peace, I can eat healthy, okay? I can do the things that I love, I can travel, I can live my life, I can do all of these things that I was never able to do before, whether it be because of my environment, whether it be because of finances, whatever the case may be. Being in Southeast Asia has allowed me to blossom. It has allowed me to explore who I am as a person. It has allowed me to push my limits. It has allowed me to meet different people. I know people, I have friends from all around the world now, okay? And man, it's just like, I really wish I could just tell you guys how amazing it is. Like, just look at this right now, man. This is every single day. Every single day. You know what I mean? It's just, bro. You just have to come see for yourself, man. And if you don't come see for yourself, you just have to keep watching these videos, okay? Because I'm gonna try to show you guys the best way I know how. And as I keep going, I will definitely do a better job at showing you guys what's going on here, so you guys can have a better idea of what's going on here, man. But bro, no complaints. I have zero complaints. I have zero complaints. Even the issues, like I said, you know, it might be hard to find a barber, or you might be away from your family. To me, all of any cons that comes with this situation is worth it, okay? Especially in comparison to being in America. You know, you don't feel safe as a black man in America. You don't feel loved all the time. Like I said, with your family, hopefully you do, but like with my family, of course, I understand, you know, my family loves and appreciate me, but just by strangers, just by the outside world, just by, you know, police officers, just by people, you know what I mean? You don't always feel loved, you don't always feel respected, you don't always feel appreciated. You feel less than a lot of times. I don't feel like that here. I feel like I'm on top of the world here. Honestly, I feel like I'm on top of the world here. And I'm just grateful, man. All glory to God. I'm just thankful for the opportunity that He's blessed me with to live this life for myself, but also being able to have a platform to where I can encourage other people and inspire other people to, you know, chase their dreams and travel more and see what's out here in this world, because it's a lot out here. You know what I mean? It's so much out here. It's so much out here, and there's only one way to find out, man. Two ways. You can either watch from somebody else or you can go see for yourself, man. Either way, I think it's definitely something to tune into, because, you know, you want to open your mind, man, and see what's out here. And so yeah, man, that's how it is being black in Southeast Asia, being black in Asia, Tokyo, Japan. You know what I mean? Hey, hope you guys enjoyed this video. I appreciate all of you. I'm interested to know, if you have been to Southeast Asia, what are your takes on being a black man, or just being black in general, or just being a person in general? If you aren't from Southeast Asia, how do you feel about it compared to where you from? I'm interested to know that. And if you are from Southeast Asia and you found interest in any of the things that I was saying, I would like you guys to comment as well, man. But regardless, man, I appreciate you all. I love you all. I'm thankful for each and every one of you all. I just ask that you like, comment, and subscribe, and more content will be on the way. So yeah, thank you, and I'll see you guys later. All right.